Hey Faith family, welcome to your midweek pickup. This past Sunday we wrapped up our Easter series called Easter People with one of the most powerful post-resurrection stories in the Bible, John chapter 21. And today we're going to take just a few minutes to dig a little deeper. Let's talk about Peter. You know, the one who swore he'd never deny Jesus and then did it 3 times. By the time we get to John chapter 21, Peter is carrying probably a lot of guilt. So what does he do? He goes back to what he knows, fishing. And what happens next? Jesus shows up. This whole chapter is like a divine epilogue, like a PS at the end of the gospel. And it's beautiful because Jesus doesn't show up with a lecture or a list of what Peter did wrong. He shows up with my favorite, breakfast and grace. The first thing we see is Peter saying, "I'm going fishing," and the others say, "We're coming with you." It's just a small moment, but it reminds us discipleship was never meant to be a solo sport. Even in failure, we follow Jesus together. Then comes the miraculous catch of the fish. Does this sound familiar? It echoes Luke chapter 5 when Jesus first calls Peter. But this time, Jesus isn't in the boat. He's on the shore. Here's the lesson. Even when we can't see Jesus, we can still feel and hear his voice. He calls out, "Try the other side," and suddenly their nets are overflowing with fish. Jesus may not be physically in the boat anymore, but his voice still leads us. That's a word for your week right there. Here's where it gets really good. Jesus cooks breakfast over a charcoal fire. And if you remember, that's the same kind of fire Peter stood next to when he denied Jesus. Jesus is recreating the moment of failure, not to shame Peter, but to redeem him. And this isn't just breakfast, it's a holy meal. It's resurrection. It's Jesus saying, "You are still mine. You still belong." Finally, we get to the famous back and forth. "Do you love me?" 3 times. Just like Peter's 3 denials. But Jesus doesn't stop at forgiveness. He gives Peter a new mission. Feed my sheep. This is a grace handoff from Jesus, the good shepherd, to Peter, the pastor. So what does this mean for us? First, no failure is final. If Jesus can meet Peter in his most down moment to restore him, he can meet you in yours. Second, grace always leads to purpose. Jesus doesn't just forgive Peter, he sends him, and he's sending you and me. So this week, open your Bible to John chapter 21. Read it slowly. Imagine the fire. Smell the smoke. Hear Jesus ask, "Do you love me?" And then hear him say, "Follow me." You are not disqualified. You are not done. It is a good morning for God's grace. Till next time, friends. Have a great week.